Love. Allegedly the key to happiness. Psychologists even call it the holy grail of life satisfaction. No pressure, right? No matter the age, love is what people obsess over. Why do romantic stories never go out of style? From best-selling novels to Hollywood's biggest blockbusters, the fantasy of love refuses to die. Romeo and Juliet, a tragic teenage disaster, yet somehow still iconic. Fairy tales? Same deal. Love is marketed as the ultimate prize. Meanwhile, self-help books and psychology guides keep rolling in, offering step-by-step guides to finding and winning your soulmate. Relationship survival tips, because love is apparently a war zone, and tricks to reignite the spark. Translation: work, lots of work. Love is an endless topic, because let's face it, we still don't have it figured out. Yet love is fascinating, confusing, and sometimes just straight up frustrating. It feels like a basic human need, yet it's a puzzle nobody quite solves. Reality check. Love isn't just butterflies and grand gestures. It comes with baggage, misunderstandings, and the occasional existential crisis. Enter science, psychologists, sociologists, and neuroscientists working to decode love like it's a complex math equation. No romantic speculation here, just real-life studies, data, and some inconvenient truths. Brace yourself. Some of these insights may crush your love-fueled illusions. We don't make an omelet without breaking eggs, as they say. But love is closer than you think. Seriously, look around. Poets say love is a magical force that draws strangers together. Science says, not really. Turns out, we mostly fall for people who are just like us. Studies show we tend to gravitate toward those who share our background, interests, and values. Translation: your soulmate is probably already in your social circle. Looking for love? It's likely among co-workers, classmates, neighbors, that friend of a friend you always ignore at parties. Basically, love might be hiding in plain sight. Then, how do love stories begin? Every love story starts with a first encounter, some instant, some painfully slow. But what actually sparks attraction? Can you make attraction happen? Online dating, speed dating, pure dumb luck? What actually works? Spoiler, not every meeting leads to chemistry. No spark, no romance. But what creates attraction? Science has a few ideas. Also, quick reminder, attraction does not equal relationship. Liking someone doesn't mean they'll be your forever person. Communication is what takes attraction from crush to something real. What about love versus long-term relationships? Desire and long-term commitment should go hand in hand, at least in theory. But real talk? Keeping love alive takes effort. Hard truth? Divorce rates are over 50%. Yeah, yikes. So what makes love last? What turns passion into something that actually goes the distance? How do couples keep love alive after the honeymoon phase fades? Let's try and quickly set a timeline for the journey of love. Meeting can lead to attraction, which brings seduction, and if a spark occurs, it will lead to falling in love, and if the odds are in your favor, a long-term relationship. Understanding each step might not guarantee a love story for the ages, but hey, at least you'll know what you're up against. Okay, so, love begins with a meeting. Shocking, right? Love might be a grand poetic force, but before anyone starts writing sonnets, one minor detail, you actually have to meet someone first. Love is a transitive verb. It needs an object. No meeting, no love story. There are two basic approaches. The first is being passive. You basically sit back, believe in fate, and wait for Cupid to do his thing. Spoiler, he's unreliable. The second one is taking an active approach. Go out, meet people, and, actually interact with the world. Love often feels like it just happens, an uncontrollable force taking over. The phrase falling in love captures that whole, oops, I tripped and now I'm obsessed with you feeling. Ancient myths, like Cupid shooting arrows, reflect this idea of love hijacking our free will, but let's be honest, Cupid's aim is questionable at best. So is it more about destiny or just dumb luck? Plato's Symposium gave us one of history's most romantic and slightly weird ideas. Humans were originally conjoined beings with 4 arms, 4 legs, and 2 faces. The gods, being their usual dramatic selves, split them in half. Ever since, we wander the earth looking for our missing piece, our soulmate. Sounds deep, right? Well, psychology says this is just our brain rewriting history to make past events feel more meaningful. That whole when I met them I just knew moment, probably just selective memory at work. Conclusion, love at first sight is less destiny and more our brains playing a nostalgia remix. Let's call it the fate illusion, or how we actually trick ourselves. People love the idea of fate. It makes things feel special. Let's say you meet someone and later you think about how easily it couldn't have happened. What if you'd taken a different route, missed that event, chosen a different coffee shop? Now, it feels like the universe conspired to bring you together. Reality check. It was just probability. Survivor bias in love. Couples who make it work believe they were meant to be. Couples who break up, well, they just weren't meant to be. Sound familiar? That's because we only analyze the survivors, not the thousands of failed love stories. Believing in meant-to-be love makes it feel more magical, sure, but a little realism doesn't hurt either. So where do people actually meet? Back in the day, village dances were the place to meet potential partners. Now, well, things have changed, but not that much. Some modern equivalents? Clubs and trendy parties. Lots of people, but also lots of small talk you'll forget by morning. Bars and social gatherings, decent for casual encounters, if you can survive the awkward introductions. Dancing in parties, great if you like loud music and questionable pickup lines. But what if that's not your scene? Love happens in everyday places, not just in rom-coms. Sociologists have a fun fact. Most people don't find love at some big dramatic singles event. Historically, most marriages happen within the same neighborhood, workplace, or school, basically where people naturally spent their time. This is called endogamy, the tendency to date marry within your social circle. The best strategy? Expose yourself to more social situations. The more people you interact with, the more likely you'll find someone you connect with. Like attracts like, opposites rarely attract. We love the idea of star-crossed lovers from different worlds, but research says not so much. People tend to fall for those who resemble them, in values, education, and even facial features. Yes, really. Fun fact, some studies show couples often have similar eye distances or even names that sound alike. Creepy or cute, you decide. Instead of forcing yourself into generic dating spaces, there is a better approach. Join activities you actually enjoy or engage in clubs, sports, or hobbies that interest you. Why? Because meeting someone while doing something you love increases the chances of a real connection. And hey, worst case, you just get better at a hobby. What about the science of meeting someone? Because it is a science. No, it's not magic, it's math. Love isn't just about fate. It's also a lot about probability, effort, and putting yourself out there. You want to increase your chances? Be where people share your interests. Expand your social circles. Create opportunities instead of waiting for destiny to show up. And yes, you can romanticize a meeting after it happens, but don't rely on fate to do the heavy lifting. Not all meetings are created equal. Sorry to all the meet cute fans. Not every encounter leads to something meaningful. Some just don't. That fleeting eye contact with a stranger on a train, probably going nowhere unless someone actually follows up. Meanwhile, meeting colleagues, neighbors, or friends of friends increases the chances of seeing each other again, which, surprise, makes relationships more likely. This is why most people don't end up with mysterious strangers but with someone already in their social circle. Hello, endogamy. Let's see now how the internet both ruined and saved dating. Back in the day, people relied on friends, family, and awkward social gatherings to meet potential partners. Then the internet said, "Hold my Wi-Fi." Now dating platforms have turned romance into an algorithm-driven experience. The perks? Thousands of potential matches at your fingertips. Advanced filters to narrow down the search, because apparently a 2-inch height difference is a deal breaker now. The downside? Anonymity breeds deception. People lie about height, age, income, and sometimes their entire life story. Not everyone is actually looking for love. Some are just there for entertainment, ego boosts, or straight-up catfishing. Yeah, let's talk about online dating, where lying is a feature, not a bug. Because the internet makes it way too easy to tweak the truth. Some people shave off a few years or add a few inches to their stats. Others downplay their careers. I'm not a lawyer, I just give legal advice professionally. One key survival tip? Don't fall in love with a profile. Get to real-life meetings quickly, before you waste time imagining a fantasy version of someone who might not even be real. Have you heard about the shopping cart effect in online dating? Once upon a time, people met naturally, got to know each other, and discovered attraction along the way. Now, we browse potential partners like we're picking out a new phone. Online dating turns human connection into a transaction. Swipe, sort, and filter until you find someone who checks all the boxes. Ultra-specific demands: must be 6'1", love hiking, and own a dog, but not a small one. More choices equals higher expectations equals more disappointment when people don't match their perfectly curated profiles. Let's do a pros and cons survey on internet dating. Pros: connects people who'd never meet otherwise. Great for introverts. It's easier to start a conversation when you don't have to make eye contact, right? Search filters help you find a better match, or at least someone who shares your love of obscure indie bands. Cons: awkward first meetings. So, do we just pretend we didn't analyze each other's profiles for 3 days? Also, people lie. A lot. That casual traveler probably hasn't left their city in years. Then the biggest one of all, ghosting is way too easy when you're just another name on a screen. And then, how do you write a winning dating profile? A solid profile isn't a bragging contest or a wish list for the perfect partner, it's a balance. The ideal formula, 70% has to show who you really are, 30% who you're looking for. Why? All About Me profiles scream self-absorbed. All About You profiles make you sound way too picky. Oh, and include a photo. No, not a blurry one from 2015, a real, recent one. Now, about dating ads. Why men often get it right, and women tend to overthink it. Men tend to describe what women actually want to hear. I am a tall, energetic guy who loves the outdoors, seeks funny and curious women. Women, on the other hand, sometimes miss the mark. Elegant woman who enjoys fine dining and deep conversations. Translation, sounds classy, but where's the fun? There is a common misconception there. Women assume men only care about looks, but research shows personality matters too. Shocking, right? Pro tip. Ladies, before you post that bio, run it by a male friend. He'll tell you if it sounds intriguing or just intimidating. We'll come back on same-sex dates a bit later. Now, is speed dating efficient or just speedy awkwardness? Speed dating is for people who want real-life connections without wasting months texting. Then how does it work? You get 5 to 10 minutes per person, just enough to make an impression, or decide to fake an emergency exit. No phone numbers are exchanged unless both people are interested. Low risk, low commitment. Regarding the pros, no endless texting, just straight to the point. Also, chemistry is judged in real time. On the con side, though, the pressure is real. 5 minutes to be charming is harder than it sounds. Some people freeze up under the time crunch. So, do you like bread? Now, what not to say on a first date unless you love awkward silences? It's good to know that some topics are instant romance killers. Research says, talking about movies? Nope. Turns out, whether it's men dating men dating ladies, or ladies dating ladies, people rarely agree. Action versus romance, horror versus Japanese animated movies. Need we say more? These topics would rarely make a conversation last. Politics and religion, then. Unless you enjoy debating over dinner, steer clear. So, what does work? Apparently, travel and vacations. People love talking about their dream destinations. Playful, unexpected questions. They spark fun and laughter. It can sound a tad superficial, yet when you are trying to discover more about someone, it is a good starter. If you feel yourselves vibing, then you'll get plenty of time to get into deeper topics. If you were a pizza topping, what would you be? Cheesy? Yes, but it works. Moral of the story? If you make each other laugh, your chances skyrocket. A final thought for today? Dating is a mess, so you might as well have fun with it. Between online filters, social biases, and awkward first dates, modern romance is part science, part chaos. The key? Be realistic but open-minded. Stop waiting for fate. Instead, create opportunities. And most importantly, if the date is terrible, at least get a funny story out of it. So, why them? The age-old question. Why am I obsessed with this person? Attraction is picky, pulling us toward certain people while completely ignoring others. Sometimes it even works against our own best interests. Hello, student-teacher crushes and therapist-client tension. Some attractions make perfect sense. Others, a complete train wreck. And yet, they still happen. What about the illusion of feeling an attraction? People love to say, I just felt it. I knew they were the one. Sure, that sounds romantic, but quick reality check. Attraction isn't some mystical force. It's shaped by expectations, unconscious thoughts, and straight-up fantasies. That gut feeling? Highly unreliable. First impressions? Often misleading. Most long-term partners turn out to be people you already know. Goodbye, love at first sight fairy tales. Also, careful with the menstrual cycle effect. It might indeed imply some changes in attraction levels. Apparently science says, but let's fact-check that in the description, that women's preferences shift based on hormones. During ovulation, aka the fertile window, women might be more drawn to higher testosterone men, deep voice, broad shoulders, and a confident alpha attitude. Debatable, but let's see. These guys scream bad decisions but fun memories. Again, we'll come back on same-sex relationships a bit later. Long-term reality check, though. The men women find most attractive during ovulation, apparently, aren't always great for long-term relationships. Also, studies suggest women in relationships may feel extra tempted by other men during this phase. Moral of the story? Be aware that hormones can be sneaky little manipulators. What feels like an irresistible attraction might just be biology messing with you. But that's ignoring the fact that signs of virility can differ from a person to another and reasons for chemistry are very often invisible. Again, more on that later. So, regarding that old-fashioned theory, meh. But again, we are here to study love together, so brushing off some slightly outdated concepts is part of our job. Let's see, something else to take into consideration? Attraction and the power of smell. Now that's interesting. Ever met someone who looked great on paper but their scent made you want to run for the hills? Turns out there's science behind that. Smell is a hidden deal breaker. We're biologically wired to be attracted to people with different immune system markers, CMH genes. Why? Genetic diversity equals stronger offspring. Too much similarity, like with relatives? Nope, run away. Because you can't guess, yet your body can. It equals weaker immune systems. Fun fact, women are way better at detecting body scent than men. They recognize their own scent 70% of the time, while men, a sad 10%. If someone smells off to you, trust your nose. It's probably biology waving a red flag. We'll find out more about scents in a minute, but now. Did you know about the hidden effect of birth control on attraction? Okay, sit down. Here's a wild one. Birth control can literally change who you find attractive. When on the pill, women may be drawn to partners with similar immune systems, which they'd normally avoid. Once off the pill, their attraction can completely shift, sometimes to the point of suddenly finding their partner unbearable. Any advice on that for women? If you're choosing a life partner, maybe evaluate them off birth control first, just to make sure your hormones aren't playing tricks on you. So, to sum up, some takeaways on attraction? Attraction isn't just about emotions. It's a mix of biology, hormones, and even scent. Love at first sight is mostly an illusion. Long-term partners tend to be people already in your orbit. Hormones can trick you into choosing the wrong person, so self-awareness is key. Bottom line, trust your instincts, but maybe double-check them with science. Okay, now let's keep it going by reverting back on scents a while more. So, did you know that you cannot trick biology or your and their power of smell? Sorry, perfume industry. Attraction isn't just about looks. Your nose is making decisions for you. Body odor is a major factor in chemistry, and guess what? It can't be faked. Sure, you can douse yourself in designer perfume, but if the raw, unfiltered scent isn't compatible, your subconscious will still scream, nope. This is why online dating, based purely on photos and witty bios, can fall flat in real life. Attraction isn't just visual, it's biological. And have you heard about the role of pheromones? If yes, you must wonder, are we really that influenceable? Obviously yes. Scientists, again, references will be added to the description, are still arguing about whether pheromones actually affect human attraction. Spoiler, we're not as pheromone-driven as animals, but they might still play a role. Interesting tidbits. Women subconsciously avoid places where high testosterone men have been. Maybe a sixth sense for red flag energy. Menstrual cycles can sync up in groups of women who spend a lot of time together, like dorms or offices. Conclusion? Biology is weird, and your body is probably making decisions you don't even realize. Let's talk about pheromone perfumes now and why it is the ultimate scam. Ever seen those pheromone-infused colognes that claim to turn you into a walking magnet of desire? Yeah, total marketing nonsense. Reality check. There is zero scientific proof that bottled pheromones make anyone more attractive. Instead of wasting $100 on some love potion, try this. Develop actual confidence. Work on real attraction factors, personality, hygiene, and basic social skills. Remember, smelling clean is already a win. Attraction goes beyond biology. It is what we call the power of familiarity. Turns out, attraction isn't just about genetics. It's also psychological. The mere exposure effect. The more we see something, the more we like it. This explains why we develop crushes on coworkers, classmates, and neighbors. Most marriages used to be endogamous, aka within the same social circle. That song you hated at first somehow became your favorite after hearing it 50 times. Lesson? Being around someone enough can make them more attractive. Scary thought, huh? But what about the saying, who looks alike sticks together? Yes, really. Opposites attract. Not really. Research shows we're naturally drawn to people who resemble us, in values, habits, and even physical traits. Couples, friends, and spouses often share similar interests, because endless debates over what to watch on Netflix aren't fun. Similar beliefs, fewer arguments, more harmony, even similar facial features. Yes, couples start looking alike. Why? Familiarity equals trust. Our brains love predictability and security. So if someone tells you they fell for you because you remind them of themselves, take that as a compliment. Then, why do we choose who we talk to? The psychological side of attraction. Meeting a bunch of strangers. Your brain is automatically filtering who you vibe with. When faced with new people, we scan for similarities, shared interests, common values, even subtle style cues. If someone feels too different, we instinctively keep our distance. Which is also why long-lost siblings who reunite often feel an instant connection. Genes are sneaky like that. Attraction and mutual benefit, that's the unspoken trade. Psychologists say attraction isn't just emotional, it's transactional. We stay with someone because they bring us value, happiness, support, security, validation, or something else. Some relationships even involve clear exchanges, whether people admit it or not. Beauty for status, charisma for social influence, affection for emotional security. Practical advice: if you want to keep a relationship strong, show appreciation. A simple thank you or small gestures of gratitude go a long way. Unless your entire relationship is based on trading looks for money, then good luck. But what's universally attractive? What about beauty standards? Beauty trends change, but some things stay consistently attractive across cultures. For women, one universal trait, a waist-to-hip ratio, WHR, of 0.7. This golden ratio appears in prehistoric Venus statues, ancient art like the Kama Sutra, Marilyn Monroe's silhouette. Why does this matter? It's linked to fertility and health. Our brains register this proportion as attractive regardless of body size. So no, it's not just a modern beauty standard. It's biology doing its thing. So, what actually matters in attraction? Attraction isn't just emotional. It's a messy mix of biology, psychology, and exposure. Familiarity plays a huge role. The more you see someone, the more attractive they become. Similarity builds connection. We're drawn to people who remind us of ourselves. Beauty has universal cues, but attraction is deeply personal and influenced by context. Confidence and gratitude, overpriced pheromone cologne. Moral of the story? Attraction isn't magic, it's science, psychology, and a little bit of luck. But hey, at least now you know your nose is working overtime. Okay, a bit of superficiality now. Let's talk sexiness. You gotta be sexy, but not too sexy, because double standards. Ladies, want to turn heads? A killer makeup look, a curve-hugging outfit, and a little confidence can do wonders. But fair warning, some people might assume sexy outfit equals looking for action, even if you just wanted to wear your favorite dress. Studies confirm that people judge women's intentions based on their clothing. The tighter, the shorter, the sexier, the more assumptions they make. Moral of the story? Dress how you want, but just know that some people, well, they get ideas. Not your problem, but still. But how can we trick the science of attraction? Have you heard about the magic waist-to-hip ratio, 0.7? Apparently, men across cultures subconsciously prefer women with a waist-to-hip ratio, WHR, of 0.7, meaning a defined waist and curvier hips. Why? Because somewhere deep in their caveman brains this screams, great genes, superior baby-making potential. The kicker? It's not just a cultural thing. Scientists say it's wired into male biology. Translation: if you naturally have this ratio, congrats, you're evolution's favorite. If not, don't stress, fashion has your back. Then, how to fake the perfect waist-to-hip ratio. If you were not born with the ideal WHR, no big deal. Clothing can create the illusion. If your waist and hips are about the same size, wear structured blazers and peplum tops, instant curves, high-waisted skirts and belts, on waist emphasis without the crunches. If your waist is wider than your hips, vertical stripes on the waist help slim the middle. Highlight your shoulders with off-the-shoulder tops to balance proportions. Lesson: when genetics doesn't cooperate, fashion steps in. But why do men love the 0.7 ratio? And why do women apparently prefer broad shoulders? Women with this ratio tend to have higher estrogen levels, which, surprise, ties back to fertility. Nature really wants us to think about babies, huh? For men, the ideal shape is all about broad shoulders and a V-shaped torso, because, protector energy. Bonus: symmetry equals hot. A symmetrical face signals good genes and health. Uneven features? Blame genetics, or just know that confidence can outshine symmetry. And when in need, the genius and pain of high heels runs to the rescue. High heels. Painful, impractical, and ridiculously effective. They make your legs look longer. They improve posture. Goodbye, slouching. They make your walk more elegant. Science even has the ideal leg-to-body ratio. Legs should be 5% longer than expected for your height. But if they're 15% longer, suddenly too much. Make it make sense. Pro tip: if you're under 1.72 centimeters, stick to heels under 9 centimeters. Apparently there is such a thing as too tall. Fashion, beauty standards, and long legs. Long legs equals a ticket to supermodel status. Women with legs 1.4x the length of their upper body are considered ideal in the fashion world. Too short? No problem. Heels exist. Fun fact, beauty trends shift wildly over time. Once upon a time, being tan meant you worked in the fields. Now, a tan equals I can afford vacations. Next, pale skin is making a comeback as the new healthy. Moral of the story? Trends are fickle. Do what makes you feel good. Through the ages, here is where our attraction cues landed. Body shape preferences. Body ideals aren't universal. They shift based on time and place. In the West, slim figures rule, thanks, fashion industry. In parts of Africa and the Caribbean, curvier bodies are celebrated. Why? Let's not go there. Or let's just a little bit. Because attraction is about survival signals. Basically, in famine-prone societies, fat equals wealth and survival. In food-rich societies, thin equals discipline and status. Fun fact, centuries ago, bigger men were considered attractive. Extra weight meant they could afford more food. Now, a six-pack is the new status symbol. Funny how things change, huh? Now let's talk about something that is probably more important than you would think. The hidden power of hair. Surprise. Hair might matter more than boobs or legs. Long, thick, healthy hair equals a built-in health report. It reveals diet, lifestyle, and even past illnesses. Your brain literally associates strong hair with youth and fertility. Lesson: keep your hair healthy. It's low-key an attraction superpower. But hair are not the only surprising thing to take into consideration. We live in the Bronze Age, literally. Here is a little bit about tanning through time. Old beauty rule, pale skin equals I don't work in the sun, aka rich people status. New beauty rule, a tan equals I can afford tropical vacations, also rich people status. But fast forward to today, over-tanning equals risky business. Skin cancer and wrinkles aren't cute. Fair skin is making a comeback as the healthy look. Moral of the story? Beauty trends are just expensive cycles of change. Beauty is about perception, not just looks. Beauty isn't just physical features. Emotions shape attraction too. Moms think their babies are the cutest things ever. Objectively, maybe not. When you're in love, your partner magically looks more attractive. Blame brain chemicals. We admire people equals we find them more beautiful. We dislike someone equals suddenly they look worse. Takeaway? Being kind and warm literally makes you more attractive. So, what's the ultimate beauty hack? Confidence always wins over perfection. Forget chasing beauty trends, because they will change again. Instead, focus on confidence, charisma, how you make people feel. Moral of the story? Ratios, makeup, and leg length are fun facts, but charisma never goes out of style.